Hello and welcome to Penn State Sports Update. I'm Sommer Thomas and this is Ryan Lamb, and we're here to bring you sports news from Penn State and beyond. It was an eventful weekend in college football as the release of the first playoff poll fast approaches. Ranked teams Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Auburn, and Wisconsin all lost, making room for Oregon and Utah in the top 10 and bringing Penn State up to the AP top 5 for the first time in 2 years. To earn this number 5 spot, Penn State convincingly defeated Michigan State 28-7 in East Lansing. Sean Clifford threw for 189 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception on a rainy day. 3 of those touchdowns went to sophomore tight end Pat Freiermuth, who is having a standout year with 7 touchdowns so far this season. Penn State's defense also had a dominant day with the team forcing 4 fumbles and holding Michigan State to 83 rush yards. Micah Parsons kept the defensive line solid with 12 total tackles, building off his 14-tackle game against Michigan. Penn State is looking forward to their bye week after a tough 3-game stretch, followed by number 13 ranked Minnesota.
Penn State women's soccer found a 6th straight win to book its hosting gig for the Big Ten quarterfinals. Erica Dambach's squad journeyed out to Lincoln, Nebraska to face off against the Cornhuskers. Sam Coffey's 6th goal of the season in the 11th minute was a lone goal and the difference maker of the game, as Nebraska made a strong effort to call back and even hit the woodwork once. The Nittany Lions only allowed 1 shot on goal, and that was exactly what they needed out of the veteran defense. Penn State is slated to play Iowa on Sunday, November 3rd for the conference quarters. Shifting gears to the NWSL, North Carolina Courage secured its 2nd straight title by defeating the Chicago Red Stars 4-0. The Binya opened the score in the 4th minute, while USWNT national Jess McDonald, Crystal Dunn, and Sam Mewis piled it on to capture the cup at home.
Week 8 of the NFL season came and went with many predictable wins and also some close games. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers took down the Chiefs in a hard-fought 31-24 victory. The Chiefs entered the season at 4-0 and have now lost 3 of their last 4, in addition to losing starting quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Another hard-fought win was the Texans' much-needed 27-24 victory against the Raiders, and although the Texans lost to division rival Colts last week, this win puts them only 1 game behind Indianapolis in the race for the AFC South. Speaking of the Colts, they won an all-defensive game against the Broncos 15-13 on Sunday, establishing themselves as the top dogs of the division. A top dog that did lose was the Buffalo Bills, who lost to the Eagles 31-13. The Eagles' offense came to life after weeks of average production and gave the Bills their 2nd loss of the season. Lastly, the New England Patriots are still undefeated after trouncing the Browns. The 3 turnovers for the Browns off back-to-back-to-back plays were a killer for them, but they managed to run for 159 yards anyway against one of the best defenses in the league.
The final is set for the Rugby World Cup in Japan after the slate of semifinal games over the weekend. England upset New Zealand in a marquee matchup between the number 1 and 2 teams in the world in the first semifinal on Saturday. England jumped to an early 7-0 start in the first 3 minutes and tagged on a penalty to go up 10-0 before halftime. George Ford made 4 penalty shots throughout the game, including one to separate the Red Roses after R.D. Savea scored on a try and later secured a 19-7 win over the All Blacks. It was an exciting affair between South Africa and Australia, with both teams exchanging scores and answering each other. After Josh Adams and Lee Halfpenny tied up the game with a try and a conversion for the Wallabies past the hour mark, it was Andre Pollard who hit his 4th penalty shot with 4 minutes left to lift the Springboks into the final. It will be a rematch of the 2007 final on Saturday, November 2nd at 5 a.m. Eastern Time between England and South Africa. So Summer, what are you looking forward to in this week of sports?
I'm most looking forward to that Florida-Georgia game. Florida and Georgia, premium top 10 matchup for this week. Georgia's still trying to come back after that loss to USC, so I would really like to see Florida win here. I think that I'm going to favor the underdogs for this one.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Rugby World Cup finals coming up, but then UFC has a huge card in Madison Square Garden for the baddest MFR belt between Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz, and also featuring fights like Darren Till, Kelvin Gastelum, and fighters like Wonder Boy, Derek Lewis, and also Kevin Lee. So that should be a good fight. That's it for this edition of Penn State Sports Update. For Sommer Thomas, I'm Ryan Lamb. Thanks for watching and have a good night.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSN and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.